Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Oz Fortress Hero League, season number 1, week number 3. We're going to be going straight into a pre-game interview. I'm joined today once again by Avril, and our two interviewees, I should say, are going to be Cole and Reedeen. How's it going, guys?
Hey there, thanks for having me.
Hey,
What's
I'm
up?
doing pretty well.
First of all, do you want to introduce everyone, what teams you play for, what's your roles in the team as well?
Aradine can start.
Yeah, so I'm obviously Radine. I play for Team Fission. At the moment, I'm playing off support mostly as Lucio. Um, and then Cole's been joining us as well. He's playing Mercy as well. We've been sort of trying out a 2 support loadout just to see how it goes for now. But yeah,
And Cole?
Yeah, basically what you said then. So I just tend to play Mercy and mostly in competitive mode at the moment. Just don't have time to pick up the game too much, so
Fair enough, fair enough. So you guys, as a team, Team Fission, you, how serious are you taking this season of Hero League and pretty much just competitive in general? Is it a thing that you've just thrown together, or are you looking to reach the highest points that you possibly can?
it's a very much a casual group. We sort of just joined together for a bit of fun during the beta, and we've just been
Yeah.
trying to improve ourselves a bit. We saw the league as a chance to maybe get a little taste of what competitive Overwatch might be like.
That's fair enough, yeah. Avril, do you have any
Yeah,
questions?
so this is obviously some of the pre-match stuff that Brent and I were talking about is basically, the team's records and stuff going to the league so far. So you guys are 0-2 at the moment. Are you guys starting to feel the pressure now of the third week and sort of the pressure of needing to win coming from this week onwards?
Yeah. The pressure is definitely there to win. Everyone wants to go and get a few wins. We're just trying to keep up team morale as much as we can. Try to play it cool. At the moment we're just taking every lost game as an experience to improve ourselves.
And how are you guys? Oh, sorry, Cole, you answer.
yeah, that's okay. It's important to recognize that this is the first season of Heroes League, and I anticipate there will be a lot of teams, storming, forming, trying to actually figure out where to feed up. And what this team's looking for is just stability, just a core group of people that enjoy working together and just want to have a bit of fun. So
Cool. How are you guys moving into tonight's match against Flying Spaghetti Monsters? Do you as a team or individually have any experience against Flying Spaghetti Monsters? Have you faced up against any of their players, either in scrims, matches, or otherwise? And just generally, how do you feel as a team going up against these guys tonight?
yeah, so I know a couple of their rostered players because I used to play in Team Fortress 2 quite a while ago. I personally wouldn't rate them, but as a team, I think it will be a tough challenge for us to win.
Yeah, and I'm personally not aware of any of their team as well. I'm not too familiar with the competitive scene yet, but yeah, I imagine it'll be a bit of a tough match for us.
Fair enough. That being said, you guys, how long have you been playing together in Overwatch?
Well, we've had sort of a few people jump in and out. For the oldest members have been playing together since the open beta went live, and then we've had other people jump in and out as needed from there.
Cool. How have you
Fair
guys?
enough.
Have you guys had um did you guys form your team sort of quite recently for this tournament? Have you guys had much experience in the other tournaments and leagues happening around? And how have you guys been doing result-wise across the other leagues and against the other teams as well?
So this league is the only actual like organized competitive competition we've entered in. We tried to do a couple of scrims against other teams, and they we've pretty much been losing those scrims. As you know, quite a new team. But yeah, we're just trying to find a place to play a few competitive games, learn a bit more from the other experienced teams there.
Okay. That being said, what else is there to talk about? So the
How do
team
you
you're going to
guys-
be playing against, the
How do
team you're
you-
going to be playing against,
yeah, you
Flying
go.
Spaghetti Monsters. I think I did watch one of their games before, and it wasn't the greatest display I've ever seen. I don't want to talk them down too much, but going into this, I mean, you said you were going into this casually. Is this Have you put much thought into this? Have you been watching any of the VODs that we've been doing to prepare for it, or are you just going to be going into this blind and hope that your scrims and whatnot have been taking you there? Have you been scrimming at all, actually, as well?
We probably haven't been scrimming as much as we have. We've only managed to get about 1 or 2 scrims in. Mostly been just jumping up on the competitive ladder in
Yeah.
in quick play and stuff.
Mhm.
We're watched a few VODs there and there. I'd say probably not enough than we need to be watching. Yeah, so we're mostly going into this blind. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I've mostly just been playing a competitive game with solo as well. So just a couple of people I know from TF2, like Josh and stuff. So.
How do you guys feel about the maps this week? How confident are you guys on Elios, and how confident are you on Hollywood? Are you guys experienced at all on these maps? Have you practiced these at all, or are you going into these a little bit blind? What sort of preparation have you had coming into this week?
Well, with those maps, myself personally, I feel like I played quite a lot of those maps. I know all the different routes to take and stuff. I'm fairly familiar with the layout of each of those maps. This week specifically, unfortunately, we haven't had a chance to practice these maps, but I feel like everyone knows the layout fairly well, and sort of knows the routes to take.
Okay, I'm quite curious about the organization in your team as well. So do you guys have one main person that does the shot calling? Is it more of a team effort and everyone sort of feeds in, comes in as well, or are there maybe 2 people who sort of decide what's going on? But how do you guys generally, when you get together as 6 people, how does the game go and where does the organization come in?
So I'll usually jump in as captain and try to call most of the shots. I do encourage other members of the team to call out, enemy flankers and stuff, and coming in, and I'll always ask for their input on maybe what heroes we're running in. But I sort of try to give the final word and direct everyone. So it's almost like we're doing a bit of both at the moment.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Anyone in particular that you think on your team is likely to shine tonight? Anybody that you would say for the cameraman or for the viewers, who would you really watch out for on your team?
I definitely have been keeping an eye on Moko. He's as Roadhog. He's been doing really well as Roadhog. He seems to be getting those hooks very consistently and just picking off those core players. And I've been very impressed with that. And just off the top of my head, I think one of our players has quite a few hours as McCree. I'm not sure if he'll be bringing that out tonight or not.
Okay, cool.
I genuinely have no other questions, to be honest. It was I was just trying to throw it out there and see if I could grasp anything, but beyond that, I think it's safe to end the interview here, unless someone wants to whisper in my ear and say otherwise. No.
Thank you very much, Bren, for having us here to talk.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and good luck for today. Anyway.
Cool, thank you.
See you later.
See you later. That being said, I think I've said that phrase about 5 times since that interview.
It's gonna be
Are
your
we going to
catchphrase.
be? Are we going to be waiting for this game to start? I mean, the players are slowly dribbling into the lobby, so I'd imagine the game is going to begin fairly shortly. What's the plan? What's the plan of action?
Just as the players are getting in, I just think coming off of that interview, it would be really interesting to see how Team Fission do as a team that, up until now, of having actually talked to them, are a little bit under practiced than I would have thought. but going up against Flying Spaghetti Monsters might actually be. I think they're slightly more organized, perhaps. They're a team that I've seen in a couple of other competitions, and you know, I think it's going to be the game where Team Fission are really going to need to bring something special, because it sounds like they are going to have to really step it up against Flying Spaghetti Monsters.
Hmm. What's going on with these? Apparently, the Flying Spaghetti Monsters are going to be using 2 subs in place of their main roles, so I'd imagine that is going to affect things quite substantially.
Well, having your core lineup is ideal, but I would imagine if you have subs on your lineup, you do also you should really be practicing with your subs as well. But
Yeah.
I think any night where you're not running your core lineup, it is on paper or
Hello? You stopped talking.
unfortunately, I mean,
Oh, there we go.
there may be weaknesses there that the other team could definitely exploit. So, um, a couple of issues there perhaps that may have to be looked over. But a sub lineup is going to be better than having no lineup or using a lineup with mercenaries. So I mean, they're going to definitely still be in it.
Hmm. Well, we're just waiting on 4 players now to get into the server. So I think everyone on the side of um, what's their name, Team Fission, are actually in the lobby now. So we are just waiting for the Flying Spaghetti Monsters. Or was that the other way around? I think that might be the other way around. Yeah, yeah. So everyone on the team of Flying Spaghetti Monsters are in the game. We're just waiting on Team Fission to join, which should be any time now. I mean, how long do they actually have? They got like about 8 minutes to get into the server. So yeah, they've got time. They've got time.
To recognize a couple of names, I mean, Geomanus, I'm sure. I think that might be the same Geomanus from TF2. Um,
That's Cole. That's Cole
That's
who just
Cole.
interviewed.
There it
Yeah.
is. So it is. That's the one. Hi, Cole. Um, slightly threw a bit of a curveball there for me because I didn't realize Cole is Germanus, but there it is. I got that one out of the way. I'm glad. Um, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still a little bit unsure of how the teams are going to perform. I haven't really seen either team play, but I have seen the Flying Spaghetti Monster name thrown around a couple of times, and I've sort of glanced over um, potential matches they've done. I just do know that they are slightly more experienced, and uh, that might make the difference for tonight. As once again, both of these teams are on 0-2, and both of these teams really need to get this win tonight to move forward.
Hmm. Yeah, especially looking at the league tables, we've talked about it to death. I'm going to talk about it a bit more because I'm really running out of these competition topics. It's Flying Spaghetti Monsters at the bottom of the league so far. Every other team below them is all basically forfeits. So they are currently 37th in the league, and they really do need this win to get it. Hold their heads above the water, if you like. Um, as for Team Fission, they are not far from it. They are ranked 34 in the league tables. We're currently on -7 points compared to Flying Spaghetti Monsters -11. So, as we mentioned, these teams, whatever win this now, that's pretty much their only shot of getting into playoffs. If they lose this, you can pretty much say bye-bye to any chance of that.
Yeah, Flying Spaghetti Monsters, week number 1, they went up against Incept eSports, which they're a pretty decent team. Unfortunately, no longer existing. They did disband after that first week, and then week number 2, Flying Spaghetti Monsters up against Sia on LAN. So these were 2 teams that were sort of, in particular, Sia on LAN who've been playing since, as a team, I should say, pretty much since release, and I think some of the guys were probably playing in the beta as well. So first 2 weeks, I would say Flying Spaghetti Monsters kind of had somewhat difficult matchups. I understand everybody in the first week does have difficult matchups because it is the week where um, there's the highest discrepancy in seedings, and so teams are going to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
matched up against people that you don't really want to be. Um, but this is the week where things are starting to even out, and um, whatever team loses here, going 0-3. They're going to be going into, I would assume, another 0-3 team for the next week. That might take you out of the running for playoffs, but at least I think for these teams, especially the ones who are less experienced, and this might be their first tournament as a team, they might just be getting it together by right now. Still a lot of good potential games for them coming forward. A lot more even games, even after this coming forward. So, you know, definitely a good learning experience for the teams that are a bit fresh here as well.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's literally that. If you're going to be taking your team further than this one season, you're going to want all the practice you can get, regardless. You know, you're going to want to finish out this season in preparation for the next one, or even beyond that, if your sights are set even higher. But all the teams are in the server now. I think we're going to get this on the go. The game is about to begin. So Ilios as a map, it's a control point map, sorry, not a control point, King of the Hill map. It's going to be basically these teams contesting these points. It's a different play style from what we've used to, from what we've seen before as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what loadouts and what team compositions these teams really roll out with. So as we are rolling into this game, Avril, anything at all that stands out as a bit unusual from these teams that you think might work out, might not work out?
Well, certainly we're not seeing any Tracers so far, and Tracer on Lighthouse Ilios has been a really popular pick for Tracer's ability to get behind the enemy team. There's a lot of different routes you can take here, and the ability to contest overtime especially is quite high as well. You're not going to see that this game. You are going to see the Reapers, the Roadhogs, and the Pharaohs come out. The big difference between these two teams at the moment is that you see Z on the Soldier and you see Moch on the Roadhog on the side of Team Fission. Here come the teams rolling in through the midpoint now. They're actually going to avoid each other, Brent.
Yeah, completely. They're going to be rolling in straight away. He's picked up 2 kills already. Good God, he's already got 2 frags, and he's going for more. They picked up another one. They are absolutely steamrolling them, Avril. Look at this. It's just Mocha Chikawaka, however you want to say his name. But I don't really care. He's dead anyway. Look at him. He's being absolutely battered on the point, misses the hook. And that is a steamroll if I've ever seen one. They've just jumped straight into that.
What a start for Gekkel. This is the reason why we run Pharaoh on this map. He saw an opportunity, he threw down the concussive blast, and a goodbye 2 players on the side of Team Fission. They were not prepared for that, and now the cap going in the favor of Flying Spaghetti Monsters. With 14% into the cap right now. Gekkel will take another kill on the curse of Team Fission now in a bit of trouble. 5v6, they still want to initiate
yeah, but look at Galafor, he's on the back. Look, he's on the back line. Sarapple, he's in a lot of trouble here. Right into the back of the Mercy, going to be able to back all the way off there. He almost has it. Here comes the barrage as well by Gekkel. He's already picked up 2 of these frags. Mercy going down as well as Geomanis falls. So this is really not looking good whatsoever for Team Fission right now. But they are at this ultimate disadvantage. They popped a few of them off Flying Spaghetti Monsters to wrangle control of the map back again. But oh my God, Gekkel! He's destroying. He's absolutely destroying.
We got ourselves a junior Yuki here. What's going on? Gekkel, you are blowing our minds. Early speed being used by Team Fission. I think it was a little bit too early. They're not going to have it to engage. They also have a really high ulti disadvantage. I think they're going to have to go for a throw push here to get some ultis out of Team Spaghetti Monsters.
They need to take care of Gekkel here. We already see Galafor. He's trying to basically jump into the back lines here to try and basically make some magic happen. Tactical Visor popped off by Z. He's basically just cleaning up Gekkel with the 3K. Once again, he's taking the fight in midair against the Rando Man. Can he succeed? The answer to that is no, as he manages to pick up a 4K in the end. Cursed off. The last man standing is going to get ran down in the end by the enemy team. Galafor jumps in as well to basically try and contest, force out some ultimates if possible. But really, at the end of the day, it's just Mokachika. He's died anyway to the barrage. Gekkel is absolutely crushing.
Would have liked to have seen Moch save that ulti there. Once your team is lost, you really don't want to blow any more ults. Here comes another push by Team Fission. Are they going to be able to deal with Gekkel? Genome in the middle of all of that though.
is going to get knocked off in the end, and yeah, they're going to try to take over this point now. Sound barrier also going to be popped off now on the side of Flying Spaghetti Monsters. We do see the Winston Primal Rage popped off. Galafor trying his hardest to try and keep them and contest off this point, waiting for his team to respawn. Primal Rage also being popped off now by the Flying Spaghetti Monsters. They're just knocking them off the map. Overtime is popped off, but it's slowly trickling down. Geomanis has jumped in, but he doesn't have the resurrection to even pop off to contest this whatsoever. So it's all for naught here, Avril, as they're just trying their hardest to contest it, but it's not going to be enough. First round going in a complete 0 to 100 fashion on the side of Flying Spaghetti Monsters.
Flying Spaghetti Monsters or Flying Spaghetti Monster, because Gekkel is that person. He's flying and he is a monster right now on that map. He is the Flying Spaghetti Monster of this game, getting the mid-airs, getting the knockoffs, and just being really unstoppable. I would have really liked to have seen Team Fission try something else. They really needed to get, in my opinion, perhaps get Moch off the Roadhog, get him onto a McCree, get the double hit scan going, take down your primary threat, which was Gekkel in that game, and, you know, really try and counter that. Geomanis now, you see Cole's going to go onto the Widow. We are finally going to see a response. We'll see if Cole can actually shut down Gekkel this turn.
I like this, yeah. I like the Widow pickup. It's really strong on the Ruin section of Ilios, and I think it's going to be what they need to shut down Gekkel, as well as if Geomanis is going to be hitting his shots, that is. So we do see these teams...
Did a lot of work.
They're rolling out now. Hook's going to be popped off on the bridge. The shield's really a bit of a stalemate here, so they're just waiting for the entry here. The concussion blast is going to be popping Galafor a little bit far forward there on the Reinhardt, and already we see really neither side just trying to take any territory here. Really, it's only Team Fissure the ones taking the space here, and Gekkel is just really spamming from above. Z picks up reading pretty early on. Galafor on the back lines, I should say, trying to basically keep them off the back lines, but it's all for naught here. It's Flying Spaghetti Monsters once again just crushing them.
If you look at Team Fisher's lineup right now, they're actually only running one support. You're not going to see a Mercy, and I think not having the damage boost, not having the speed heals is a really big deal. They're running only one support, meaning all of the heals have to come off of this one Lucio, and if you're going to be healing so much as a Lucio, you're not actually going to have the speed to engage, and I think that's a really big factor, especially when you're coming in from behind and you need the speed to be able to make a push onto a team that's already capped the point. They've decided to stay with their lineup, so Cole's going to pop that wallhack, and here come Team Fission.
Already, Avril, yeah, straight away. They're going to be trying to take the fight straight to them. Genome picks up the first frag onto Mocha, so it's not going to be getting any damage in there whatsoever. They're already a player down. Losing that Roadhog is never ideal, and now they need to try and take this fight 5v6. Ultima's being popped off. Here comes the Death Blossom by Genome. Sound barrier to counter it up, so Team Fission, they want to strike back. They've already lost 2 of their players, Avril. Make it free as Spaghetti's picked up Geomanis, as well as the Tactical Visor. They're getting absolutely torn to pieces here. Already, the clock is ticking down. Ultima's popped off, and they're dropping players like flies.
Well, another one of the key problems is that when you only have the one support, if your support dies, and Radine has been getting picked up rather early in these fights, is that you lose your entire heal right there off the back of one support. He has to do all the healing work, and if he dies, then, well, the rest of the team is kind of stuck. And there's not even going to be a speed for a disengage. Your team is just kind of done for. Genome on the back line, can he get something? Gekkel's going to pick up Geomanis.
They're not really focusing them down whatsoever. Misses the hook. Oh, Gekkel with the 2K. Barrage coming out. The team's following up as well, as they are absolutely crushing them. Primal Rage as well going to be popped off, as Z is the one to finish up Redean in the end. And it's just frag after frag, kill after kill. Moko going to be falling as well. There's no switch up whatsoever. And there's really all this pressure being put into them. The pin comes out by Galafor, but it's not going to be enough to kill him. As well as the Earth Shatter only connects onto one. Galafor ends up dying in the end, and that is going to be game number 1, map number 1. Ilios going to the side of Flying Spaghetti Monsters.
I don't think Ilios was definitely the map for Team Fission at all. I think Ilios, Koth as a map is very dependent on your team's ability to be able to frag, and I'm not too sure. Oh, look at this 2K onto
right at the start.
The start, absolutely brutal. I'm trying to figure out this Reinhardt pick, and the justification that I can come up with, from my understanding, is that this is what they're comfortable with picking. I think Galafor is probably their primary Reinhardt play, so they've said, okay, we can't run the standard Koth meta because maybe we don't know the heroes, maybe we don't know the compositions, and we're not comfortable with it. So let's run something we are comfortable with, which is Reinhardt on the Galafor, and try that. Try running your standard escort lineup onto a Koth, because at least you know what you're doing with that. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out, just because I don't think Reinhardt's good at all on that map, but if they're more practice on the escort maps, we're going to go to Hollywood, and we'll have to see if Team Fission can bring up something a little bit more impressive on Hollywood.
I definitely hope so, to be honest. So the team that's going to be on defense straight away is going to be switching these sides. Now, Flying Spaghetti Monster's the one I believe going to be defending, if that's correct.
So red team is attacking, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure because sometimes the lobby bugs out and it just switches around for no reason. But no, that is correct. It's going to be the Flying Spaghetti Monsters, the one to be defending first. So really, it's Team Fission. They've got a tough act to really follow up from that absolute domination, and it's really difficult to regain momentum from that and to not just momentum, morale as well in the team. It's going to be low, an all-time low after getting crushed like that. So you know, it's going to be difficult.
I think it's a sign of an experienced team, and also a sign of, you know, good players and a good team to be able to pick up the pieces from a loss. You shake off the loss, and you get ready for the next map. Reset entirely, forget about what just happened, and take this map as it is. So, Team Fission on defense, I like to see what they're going to bring on defense. I like to see what the meta knowledge they have is, and how experienced they are on the Hollywood map in general.
This is it. Hollywood is going to be the first map to be, or the second map I should say, to be played, and it's an important one really. Flying Spaghetti Monster is the one that basically taking it by storm, absolutely destroying, taking the KOF map Ilios in only 2 rounds with no contestation of the point whatsoever. So now with them on defense, we see Asmo playing his Junkrat role that he's well known for. I'm more interested to see what's going to be going on with this attacking lineup, however. I think... So yeah, looking at this defending lineup right now, overall, we don't see a Symmetra being ran, so really they're pretty confident in that ability that they can hold it without the need of the teleporter.
They're doing the, I call it the new meta play, which is you actually drop your second support altogether in favor of more damage. Yeah. So, someone will have to remind me, but I can't remember who was their second support play for Flying Spaghetti Monsters. But you are going to see extra damage in the form of Roadhog and Junkrat for the defense. Junkrat obviously a really good defender, and you're only going to see the 1 solo heals on the Mercy. As I said last game on Koth, when you only have 1 healer, it certainly puts a lot of pressure on that one player to get all the heals out. Yeah. You have only 1 person to get everybody up. I mean, sure, the soldiers can get a couple people maybe, but you lose a lot of the damage boost when you can only heal. So that's 1 hit you're going to take, but the extra damage you get will be coming from the other players that you've now dropped the second support onto a damage.
I like the Asmo pickup on Junkrat, and I like this as well. They're not holding too far forward. This is the appropriate play to make. The only thing you need to be careful of is Spaghetti there. If they were running a Pharah, they could just run around a corner and concussion blast them forward and get a pick off. But thankfully, Team Fission not running a Pharah, so that's not going to be happening to him whatsoever. And immediately we're going to see a hook coming out by Genome. He's picked up Durando Man straight away. Not going to be quick on the trigger there to shield himself. So unfortunately, that's going to be 1 pick straight off the bat. And now we see Team Fission. They're holding really passively. This is not how you need to approach this map whatsoever. Genome going to be basically running in, trying to hit off those shots if he potentially can. But this is really unusual. You do not see teams running like this because now they're getting spammed in here, Avril, and they're just basically feeding in ultimate charge.
Well, they certainly do have to make something happen. I do think they should go for the speed, and they are going to go for the speed, but they're going to go through for the alley, sneak around the alley side. They're going to lose the speed for the next push, coming around the back of the side. The fight will start now, but Spaghetti is going to get the first kill, and once again, Team Fission on the back line.
Yeah, Reading gets hooked in the end. Geome's trying to bring him down. This fight's still trying to be kicked off as well. Geoman is pinging down Gackle. Spaghetti with the counter frag as well onto the support. Mokochaki Tika. Why have you? I still don't know how to say his name. I'm just going to call him Moko. But he's already died. Geoman is going to be falling as well to the tire. So a successful defense so far by Flying Spaghetti Monsters. As it's just a random man trying to hold them off. Not going to be working whatsoever. He does fall. And now, really, Team Fission, they need to reset here. They need to take their time, build up the ultimates if possible, and not feed them.
They need another 2 pushes really to make this happen now. Their first push they're going to have to do here, they're going to need to make Flying Spaghetti Monsters blow as many ultis as possible without using their own. And then the next push, they're going to have to use everything to try and take the point. Mokka also has a res this time as well. So potentially you can go for a suicide play, get a bunch of reses up, and continue the fight if possible. So we'll see how Team Fission do.
They're moving in. Yeah.
This looks much
Straight
better.
away. Earthshatter from behind picks up 2. The Barrage to follow it up. Gackle picks up Retain. The rest has been popped off already by Team Fission, but it's too late. They've lost so many players. 5 down, 6 down. A complete team wipe in the end, Avril. But really, was that what they wanted there? They've got almost every ultimate up on almost every hero now. Team Fission, they can reset here and take another fight.
It's good. You know what? I think that was actually really good. I think them dying quickly there and dying to all the ultis is actually exactly what I said. They needed to get the ultis out of the way, and they certainly did do that. Now the combo is not a good pick-off though. A combo is available for Team Fission. This is what they need to do to win the game right now. They have Geomantis' Death Blossom, and they have the Rando Man's Black Hole. If they can combo the 2 ultis together, they can get a team wipe, kill Serapel on the Mercy, and not to prevent the res, and that's how they're going to take this push.
Oh, we see Genome. He's getting a bit aggressive there in that side. Little house
pick him.
advantage
does that
area. Yeah,
again.
he is.
If he does that again,
This is the high ground hold. This is the strength of it. And they are getting absolutely crushed so far by Gackle. Spaghetti's picked up the res already, and they've got 2 frags, make it 4. They've actually destroyed them. Earthshatter popped off. Spaghetti's on an absolute mad one. He's picked up 3 players already, and he cannot be stopped. The ultimates are still in favor of Team Fission. But really, that's not what you wanted. You've just fed them even more ultimate charge here.
I don't like that by Geomantis. He actually swapped off the Reaper. The Reaper, although he used the ultimate, he retained the most of the charge. He was on still like close to 90%. They could have still done the combo. Now they've lost a lot of damage for the combo. They do get Serapel though. They need to make this push happen. There's not going to be a res for the defensive flying spaghetti monsters. Where's the
Speed
black
boost in. They need to really force them out here. Mokka's basically running in now. He's playing the support role, if you like. Tactical Visor popped off by Kirstoff. Gackle's picked up the 2k onto the random man and the Widowmaker, dropping them straight away. Genome pops off the whole hog. The Tire also going to be coming out as well to finish up the last 2 players. And really, the Earthshatter is onto 2, but at what cost? They cannot follow it up with any damage whatsoever. They do manage to bring down Spaghetti, but it's just 1 man against the world. It's not going to be enough. 50 seconds remaining on the clock now, Avril.
They really had every single tool to take that fight, but it's just really unfortunate to see them not being able to coordinate the ultimates together. The way you want to use ultimates in this game is that you need to be using your CC ultimates, such as your Black Hole, like your Earth Shadow, with your damage ultimates, and we just didn't see that. You see Geomantis take off the Reaper ultimate that he was so close to. Kirstoff uses an aimbot on the side against a solo Reinhardt, and nothing really came of it.
Well, this is it. This is attempt number 2.
No
Here comes the
Black
Graviton
Hole.
Surge, connecting onto nobody whatsoever. So they really need to try and take this fight without the ultimates now. Charge in by Spaghetti. Is going to be able to manage to pin up 1 player, and is not going to get the frag because he is going to get countered up. But this is a fight that's happening on every single front now. Gackle still just raining hell from above as he does manage to pick up the Mercy there. So that's no heals now for the side of Team Fission, as they need to try and take this fight without a resurrection as well. The defensive res is going to get popped off by the flying Spaghetti monsters. Gackle still causing absolute mayhem. Just really nobody contesting him whatsoever, and it's looking like another successful defense. Geomantis can't do anything, and that is going to be round number 1 of this second map, taken in once again a very similar fashion.
There was another issue that I did notice here, and that was that Mokka didn't really get a res off. I don't think he got a single res off that game, and a lot of that came down to he did get picked quite early. If your team fails a push, the way you retake that push is you have to get a really big res, and that just didn't really happen this game either. You see Mokka getting picked off really early in that push, and it really just... as soon as your Mercy gets picked off in a push and you can't respond very quickly by killing any players, your push is done. You're going to have to go for a complete reset at that point. So a few coordination errors, some personal skill, player errors in there, really saw Team Fission not being able to take out that offense. But they did have all the tools available, they just didn't bring it all together.
Absolutely. We definitely saw as well, there was 2 opportunities there for them to try and take a round in very quick succession, and as you said, they had the ultimates, they just didn't have the team cohesion and the and really the execution to try and take it. So it is unfortunate for them. Now they need to hold on to this first point. What are you expecting to see? Any Symmetras, any Junkrats like this Flying Spaghetti Monsters were running at all?
I think they need to be picking at this point whatever they're most comfortable, whatever they're best with right now is what's going to be the best for them, because it doesn't matter about trying to play what is meta, perhaps, because if you're unpracticed and you're uncoordinated as a team, if you don't have the time to spend together to have coordinated what is considered meta. You just need to play what you're good at right now. You need to play what you're comfortable with, what you're confident on, and if based on that you can make something happen based off individual skill, then you're probably going to keep yourself in the game. If you try and do something that you're not comfortable or you're not practiced with, then I don't think it's going to be a good idea for this game.
The first thing that screams out to me is look at all this damage that's on the side of Team Fission right now. They've got a Bastion, they've got a Reaper, and they did have a Roadhog, which they've switched off now, so it's, I was going to say it was an absolute ridiculous amount of DPS on their side, but they have managed to, they've decided to take off the Roadhog and put on the Reinhardt instead. And do you agree with this double support?
Well, what I'm really interested in is they've actually swapped up a lot of their players. Now you see Mocha back on the Reinhardt, you see Durando Man off the Xayah and onto the Mercy, and you see Kirstoff now onto the Xayah, so a lot of swapping going on. Lineup-wise, it's obviously not what I expected to see, but once again, if this is what they're comfortable with doing, then this is what they need to do.
Already the Bastion putting in a lot of work. They're trying to get a wraparound. Geoman's behind them, getting in a bit of damage. He is going to manage to shift away in the end, so he is going to be able to get out scot-free. But now this is the big wraparound. This is what you need to be careful of. If you don't control this high ground, it can be absolutely detrimental. They're trying to hold them off to the best of their abilities. The Bastion putting in a lot of work. Already the barrier's gone down. Galafor picks up Z in the end. Make it 2 as Sir Apple's going to be falling as well. And this is it. This is what they need to do here. They're trying to basically take this fight now onto the flank now. We see Geomanish trying to take this 2v1. He is going to be falling in the end. Asmo to pick up that frag. So they are basically losing a few of these players in these clutch positions, and there's still Spaghetti and Genome are still alive in the top area there. And this could be a reset here. We're going to see Avril as they look to take this fight into them slowly but surely. Just basically feeling them out, seeing what they can get done without committing.
They need to get more. They need to feed Galafor with more frags. Right now he's sitting on 57% ultimate. If they get the tank form, I do believe they can hold this point, because even if they get really contested upon, you throw the tank form out and you kill another 2 to 3 players, you're in the game. You've got the defense. They need to be feeding the damage and the kills into Galafor right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And this high ground position that's being held by Flying Spaghetti Monsters, Giovannis picks up 2 in the end. Asmo and Geki going to be falling, so that's 2 very crucial frags that he got as they were basically behind enemy lines. And now here comes basically the wraparound by Flying Spaghetti Monsters. They're trying to basically avenge their friends now, chasing down Giovannis. They are going to be able to pick up the frag. The resurrection committed by Durando, man. It does build quite quickly. It's not the worst thing in the world, but really now they're at an ultimate disadvantage. If Flying Spaghetti Monsters choose to take a fight, Death Blossom from behind picks up 2. See you later to the resurrection. Geomanis, he's still alive. He's picked up a 3rd one. Can he get any more? That is the question. Jackal is trying to bring him down. He is in the end going to be able to finish him up. Z as well is trying his hardest with the Dragon's Blade to try and finish him up, but it's not going to work out in the end. They are going to be able to hold on for dear life, as we see. But this is a bit of a reset. This is a bit of an opening now that Flying Spaghetti Monsters could potentially play off as the players are only just respawning.
Yeah, Fission need to get back on point ASAP. They're taking quite a long time to push to come back in for the defense, but taking even longer as Flying Spaghetti Monsters to get themselves organized for another push. They actually had a window there. If they went quickly enough, they would have been able to take care of the other players. But here comes the speed push right now. Genome going in deep with the Death Blossom.
Oh my goodness, it's a mix mash of ultimates. Graviton Surge, I think it's working out better for them. Oh my goodness, Team Fission absolutely crushing. But here comes the Resurrect. It's a complete reset. Can they take this fight a second time around? That is the question. Z has finished up for E-Team. Can they get any more? Geomanis, he's picked up Gackle. He's picked up Z. That's already 2 frags. It's exactly what they needed. And now Genome is trying to pick up these frags if he can. He's going to Reaper shift away. Galafor is on his tail, but he is going to pick up that frag in the end, beating him to death. The Resurrection as well, popped off by Durando Man to ensure that they had every single one of their players up for the reset. But that was incredibly well played by Team Fission. I thought after that Resurrection, that was going to be GG.
Well, as I said, you know, the tank form is what's going to keep them back in the game. If they lose a defense, as long as you get the tank form out and you do get a couple of kills on it, you can reset the defense. But Gecko's going to take down Galafor. There's not going to be a revive this time to get it back up. It's going to be a 6v5 situation. Can Team Fission still hold it?
They need to bring down Gackle. Gackle's just jumped in straight away to pin as well. They picked up 2 players already. Durando Man falling as well, so that's no mercy for them whatsoever. And now this is pretty much, it's all gone tits up. Dragon Blade pots up by Z. He's not going to be able to get any frags, but his team are there to follow up. And look at this forward hold already, taking the fight straight to them. They know this is almost GG. If they manage to get off these forward these spawners now,
If they can hold them off, this is pretty much game. And there we go. That's the first round. So it's going to be the first or the second map. Basically, I think they still earn points, do they not? It's timed completion. So if they do need to complete the entirety of the map.
Well, it is only timed completion if you complete the map. Because
Right.
because Team Fission didn't complete the map, they don't get a time. And so the point system works that if you cap out completely, then it goes to a time difference, and then you compare times, and a team gets extra points for that. So, unfortunately for Team Fission, that will be GG. It was a very valiant defense, and I think, speaking for myself, I was quite impressed, and it did sound like you were a little bit surprised by Team Fission's effort on there as well. So,
Yeah.
it was quite the defense.
I mean,
won't
can you
lie.
blame me? Can you blame me for being surprised by it? I mean, from what we saw of the first game, and especially that first round of map number 2, I wasn't too impressed, especially from a couple of these guys. They're from the TF2 days. I've seen them play before. I've casted with Cole before as well for TF2. You know, I know them to be very capable guys, and I was honestly a bit upset to see them not really do as well. So when they started to bring it back there, especially after that fight, that was the really teller for me that there is some potential in this team. When they took that fight after the Resurrect, even after they popped all their ultimates and they still came out on top, that was when I was thinking, hang on a second, they can secure some points here. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be so.
Well, I'll tell you what, going to the final moments of that defense, well, a couple of things I noticed that if they had done these things, they may have had a slightly or possibly even a much better defense. I did notice that Durando man on the Mercy wasn't damage boosting Gallifore on the Bastion as much as he should have been. I would have actually stuck that Mercy directly on blue beaming that Bastion 100%, like even 90% really. And then you got your Lucio for the rest of your team's heals. The Lucio can just stay on heals. You don't need the speed anyway, you're on defense. You just need to keep the heals up on the Lucio, the Mercy damage on the Bastion, and let your Bastion just carry your defense. He did anyway, but imagine how much more he could have carried if he had the blue beam on him the whole time.
That was really, I mean, that was that entry pick. If you remember back to that last round, I think it was Gackle that managed to pick up the Bastion pick. That was absolutely critical in turning that, because that created an opening for Gackle to just run straight into the back, and then his entire team just basically rolled deep in and cleaned up. So it was all off the back of that one pick. If maybe the damage boost, as you said, if it was put onto into the Bastion a little bit longer, we would have potentially seen a different outcome. But with that being said, we are going to be going into interviews. You can probably hear him clicking and clacking away in the background. We are joined by Gino from Flying Spaghetti Monsters. How's it going, my man?
It's
and Cole as
been
well.
a good evening so far, yeah.
Well, you must be pleased with the results. I mean, you're now 1 for 2 on the scoreboard. You guys have finally managed to get a point on that scoreboard, so you must be pleased with your performance tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty comprehensive, I guess, in the end. Yeah, we didn't even die much really. The Ilios is probably one of our best maps. We're definitely better on control maps than Payload. And we really like Ilios, so we were hoping that was going to be a strong map for us, and it quite obviously was.
I really wanted to know, going into that Hollywood offense, were you a bit thrown off by the Bastion, and what was going through your team's mind after the first failed push? Were you guys having a few moments of oh god, what's going on here? Are they gonna actually be able to hold this, or were you guys still quite calm about it and you knew what you were doing still?
Well, funnily enough, as we came out of spawn, we were like, oh, yeah, we could have a Bastion. You know, like, it seems like something a team would do after they've just been thrashed a bit, and like, so yeah, we knew there was the possibility, but we didn't change any of our picks to, like, you know, try and preemptively counter it or anything like that. But yeah, obviously it did give us a bit of trouble at the start, and I think mainly we started trickling a bit. So I think what we really needed to do was all come in together so that the Bastion couldn't focus on us, like, you know, one at a time sort of thing. I was hoping to get everyone to come in, make a distraction, and then maybe the Genji come in and like reflect the Bastion down or something like that. But that didn't work out too well. I'm not sure how we got him in the end eventually, but
Gackle picked him off at the start of a fight.
Okay,
Did I say his name
when he
correctly?
changed to Farah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackal, yeah.
Yeah, when Gackle transformed into a flying spaghetti monster, you guys didn't manage to make it. How does Gackle do normally? Is he always this dominant?
He's a pretty good Farah. Like he's actually just at the moment with the Farah meta, obviously. We've been using him as Farah a lot because he's our best Farah. But he's actually sort of meant to be in the off tank role and usually plays Zarya or Winston. But yeah, we have been using him a lot. And then I just switch off to Roadhog. So
I don't want to circle jerk too hard on Gackle's performance, but it was really quite impressive, particularly on the Ilios. I think Brain would probably agree with that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, he completely
turned
won
up.
us that first team fight, right? With getting those 2 concussive kills.
Yeah,
that
it is
fantastic.
unusual to see teams roll out that way, just because there is the potential for that to happen, where you basically get knocked off the edge. But I mean,
I don't think
capitalised
taking
off
that route to the point is a good idea unless you've got some recovery movement abilities. You know, if you're Lucio or Farah or something like that. So yeah.
Well, we are joined as well by Cole, who is the team
Otherwise
captain
known as
for
Geomanis.
Team Fission. Yeah, otherwise known as Geomanis. He did play in that game. Obviously, I'd imagine you are disappointed with that result. Are you here, Cole? Yeah.
It was fairly expected, to be honest. I recognise some of the players from Team Fortress 2, but at the end of the day, I knew that we were probably not going into it because the team doesn't practice much, and yeah.
How did you guys? So, after the first fight on Ilios, where was your team? The team mentality after that were you guys a bit thrown off by the double kill from the Farah, and how were you guys going into the rest of that match, knowing that Gackle was such a threat?
I think that we just didn't really react to it particularly well, and just people just kind of, just didn't play correctly about it. So yeah, well, I knew that he was going to do that, and I asked for a Winston shield originally, but sometimes it just doesn't eventuate when people are at that level. So.
Did you guys do anything at all to adjust? Did you make any adjustments between the two Ilios maps at all to sort of think about where are we losing here and what can we do?
Yeah, so we recognized that there was a distinct difference in player skill, so they got me to change over to a fragging class instead of Mercy. So.
I want to bring it over to Hollywood a bit. I noticed you guys swapped over your player roles a bit. I mean, we saw Mocha on Roadhog, and then also on Mercy, and then you see Dr. Randoman on Mercy, but also on a couple other heroes, and then a couple of other guys swapped as well. What was the sort of story behind that?
Well, I figured the Reaper was the pick because I just know it's really good on that point, pretty much. But some of our classes, like Bastion, we figured we're just not going to win a fair fight, so we should just try to do something stupid instead.
So I'm more sort of specifically talking about most teams would have like a core Mercy play, and this guy just plays Mercy, or this is your
so
core
the team
sport.
is fairly new, and we haven't really figured out how to find roles yet. But at the same time, they knew that there was a distinct difference between my play and how much they play. So
I did. One last question from me before I throw it back to Bren is I did notice on one of your pushes on Hollywood, you had pretty much all of your ultimates up. You had your combos available, and the big combo I was talking about on stream was the Black Hole and Death Blossom combo. It didn't quite go off. You lost your Death. You didn't quite get your Death Blossom up, but it didn't reset completely either. You said it had nearly about 90% of that charge left, but then you switched off to the Widowmaker. I just wanted to sort of get the a bit of background in the decision there, because I would have felt like if you guys had kept the Reaper with the ultimate, you could have had a second go at the combo.
Yeah, I think at that point a lot of people were just quite upset, and there's not too much you can really do when people start tilting. So I mean, I was personally a little bit invested in wanting to try Widowmaker or change something different, but I probably did make a mistake and swap over from the wrong class. So
I lie, I have one more question, sorry Bren, but on the defense you guys started to finally bring it back a bit with the Bastion play. I have to say, did that sort of give you a bit of a light of hope, thinking, well, this is starting to work, we are actually winning a few fights here, and this could actually be it?
Well, you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch, so we recognized that it obviously wasn't going to help us unless we held the entire time, and we didn't, so...
Bryn?
Fair enough. Yeah. Question wise, you pretty much like said every question I'd like to ask. Other than, I guess I could talk about the future of your team. Where do you see yourself, Cole, going in from this? I mean, you've got a few these losses under your team's belt, Team Fission. I'd imagine you guys are going to finish out the season.
Well, we'll probably like Swiss basically balances the tournament so that we'll come up
Yeah.
against teams closer to our level, and that's okay. That's where I'm expecting that the team won't do particularly well for a little while, but we'll start to come up with fairer matches in the future. So as long as we get people that are on the same page and committed to just playing every now and then, we're gonna have a fun time.
And it's correct as well. You guys had 2 substitutes as well, didn't?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so not ideal, not running a cool roster. I can understand where some of the issues may lie. And just to throw a question as well to Genome, Flying Spaghetti Monsters, it's one of your victories. I think it's you got a victory before. Was this your first victory in the?
Nah, this is our first one. I mean, we were also saying amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
It was nice to be on the other side of the coin for once, because the last 2 games, sort of felt a bit like that for us, as Cole was probably feeling tonight.
Well, where do you
I
see
got-
your team basically being pushed from here on out? And with that 1 victory under your belt, can you see yourselves potentially aiming for the playoff spot? I think it is still possible for you guys.
How many teams go into playoffs?
8, I
I
believe.
need a producer
8?
to whisper in my ears. 8. Yeah.
That's me, I'm the whisper.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of a stretch. I think if you look, we're actually at the exact bottom of the ladder right now. So, yeah, we're hoping to get some wins.
I do think
Playoffs
4-2 is
will be
possible.
tough.
4-2, if you end with a score of 4-2, it might be possible. If you score well in your next 3 matches and you finish 4-2, it's not completely out of the question. But if you do get to 3-2, I believe the final match will be a difficult one. So
Yeah.
if you can bring it to 4-2, I think you have a chance.
You got a pound basically. You got a pound.
That being
So-
said, how are you guys feeling for next week? Your next week's maps are, of course, Numbani and Watchpoint Gibraltar. How are you going to prepare for this, knowing that you pretty much have to win every match from here on out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think getting to the playoffs is necessarily a goal of ours. We're just looking to have a good time. We're not. There's a lot of teams on here that are screwing 5 nights a week for 4 hours or something, and we'd probably get maybe 2 or 3 hours on 2 days, and so we're not expecting to keep up with Untitled Spreadsheet and their ilk. But yeah, we're mainly in it for the fun, and it is definitely fun to get some wins like tonight. So yeah, we had a good time.
I'm pretty much done with the questions, Avril. I don't know if you
I-
want to send us off.
Yeah, me too. I think that was pretty much all I had to say. A really powerful performance, I'll say, from Team Flying Spaghetti Monsters. And well done to the members and to you, Genome, and the rest of your team. And especially to Gackle, who really, I'm just going to go back there one more time because it's still blowing me away, some of the shots he was hitting. So shout outs to him. And really looking forward to your performances coming up, and best of luck for the remainder of the league. And with a bit of practice, hey, the dream is still real. You guys could possibly make 4-2, so go and get it. Cheers.
All right, thanks, guys. See you later.
See you later.